This week we're going to be celebrating one of the most exciting Jewish holidays that we have, which is the holiday of Shavuot, which is when Hashem gave the Jewish people the Torah on Har Sinai in the desert thousands of years ago. Now the word Shavuot has two meanings. The first meaning is weeks, and the second meaning is oaths. So the meaning of weeks alludes to the fact that from the time of Passover, which is when Hashem freed the Jewish people from their slavery in Egypt, until the time when he gave the Jewish people the Torah, was a period of 7 weeks. And nowadays we count every single evening, day 1, day 2, day 3, so on and so forth, until 49 days from the second night of Passover until Shavuot. We count that period of time as a way to sort of heighten our excitement for receiving the Torah. And the second meaning is the one I want to focus more on today, which is oaths. So what does an oath have to do with the holiday of Shavuot? So there are many people who will allude Hashem giving the Jewish people the Torah as being similar to what Jewish weddings look like nowadays. So let me make the comparison for you. When the Jewish people were in the desert getting ready to receive the Torah, they immersed themselves in a mikveh, they washed their clothes, they ended up fasting on that day in order to elevate themselves spiritually to be ready to receive the Torah. Nowadays, when we have a wedding, a Jewish wedding, the bride and the groom, they go to the mikveh to immerse themselves, to purify themselves. Many brides and grooms fast on the day of their wedding as well, again, in order to bring themselves to this higher spiritual place and to be focused on the spiritual rather than the physical. So that's the first comparison. Then when we continue on, the Jewish people had been so excited in preparing for this day, for this great day, just as a bride and a groom would be so excited getting ready for their wedding. The Jewish people in the desert, there was the sound of shofars, there was a lot of noise because people, again, when there's excitement, there's a lot of noise and there's a lot of joy. And in the Jewish wedding, often the bride and the groom are accompanied by music and by singing and by the excited voices of their families and friends. And then in the Jewish wedding, we have the beautiful moment where the bride and the groom are under the chuppah, or the sort of the wedding canopy. And that is very similar to what happened at Har Sinai when Hashem sort of elevated the mountain and placed it over the Jewish people, bringing them all together sort of under his presence. And we are alluding to that when in a Jewish wedding nowadays, when a bride and a groom are under the canopy, it's like being back at Har Sinai, when Hashem was preparing to give the Jewish people the Torah. And then we actually have giving the Torah to the Jewish people, which is a commitment. It's a commitment that Hashem is dedicated to the Jewish people, and it's a commitment that the Jewish people are ready to be dedicated to God as well. And when you have a bride and a groom, they're dedicating their lives to each other, to loving one another, to being committed and devoted and caring for one another. And at a Jewish wedding, we give over the ketubah, or the sort of the wedding contract, which the groom is telling the bride how he's going to care for her and how he's going to provide for her. And Hashem is giving the Jewish people the Torah, which is this whole guidebook for how we should live our lives and how God is going to protect us and love us and how we are going to give love and devotion to God. And it's really quite a beautiful comparison between receiving the Torah and a bride and a groom. And so when you look at Shavuot, each year it's kind of like a wedding anniversary, because we had this wonderful big celebration when Hashem gave us the Torah, and each year we want it to be exciting, as if we were newlyweds with God in a sense. Because just like with an anniversary where you want to celebrate your love and how you've grown together and your relationship together and what you've built throughout all of these years, and you want to have excitement like as if you were newlyweds, it's the same thing with Shavuot and with receiving the Torah. We want the Torah to always be something that's exciting and always to be something that we're looking forward to learning and studying and to growing our relationship with God. And so if we can think of Shavuot as kind of like an anniversary, then I think that's kind of a nice way to put it into perspective of, oh, look, we're celebrating this relationship that we formed with God thousands and thousands of years ago. And what you can see with even with some of the customs of Shavuot is they're there sort of to elevate the day as well. We spend the first night of Shavuot up all night studying and learning from the Torah. And we have special meals, and we decorate our homes with flowers, and we really try to make things very special and elevated. And it's kind of similar with an anniversary. You want to spend all this time getting to know your spouse as much as you possibly can, and you want to enjoy your time together, and you want to maybe give gifts or make yourself look nicer for your spouse. So too, it's kind of similar with Shavuot as well. So I hope each one of you has a happy anniversary, a happy and wonderful Shavuot, and a great week ahead.